Hi, Algebra 2. The one last thing that we have to go over is how do you find the original polynomial given its zeros? If you recall, we did this right before we left for break. So if these are my answers or zeros or solutions, how do you work your way backwards and write the original polynomial? So x equals 1, x equals 2, and x equals 3. So we need to send it over to the other side. So we're basically subtracting it over in this case. So I would have x minus 1 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, and x minus 3 equals 0. And so as it turns out, these are the factors of my original polynomial. And so I'm going to write off my factors like this. And you can only multiply two things at a time. So I'm going to focus on multiplying and distributing these two, and then I'll deal with multiplying it by the x minus 3. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times negative 2 is plus 2. I'm going to combine like terms right there. So then I have x squared minus 3x plus 2 times x minus 3. So just keep yourself organized. Multiply every term in the first times every term in the second. X squared times x is x to the third. X squared times negative 3 is negative 3x squared. Now move on. Now I'm going to take negative 3x times x, and I get another negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times negative 3 is a plus 9x. Now move on to your 2. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. You don't have to write them up and down like this. I just know that it helps keep me organized. So I get x to the third. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6x squared. 9, 10, 11x minus 6. And then finally, bring down your equals 0. And then if you want to find the original polynomial, you just get rid of the 0 and replace it with a y or an f of x. So hopefully you recall that from last semester. Number 2 is going to be your homework. Number 3, simplify using synthetic division. So the name of the game today is to help you get ready for your test next week. So I'm going to do one problem from each section, and then you're going to finish it up. If you need to do synthetic division, you need to make sure that you have all your filler zeros in place. So my exponents go 3. Oh, then it skips over the 2. So let's make sure we rewrite this. 3x squared to the third plus 0x squared plus 5x minus 1. If you don't like it up and down, you can always write it sideways, divided by x plus 1. If you have x plus 1 as your factor, that means your divisor is going to be negative 1. So I have negative 1 as my divisor. And then list out your coefficients. Give yourself a little bit of room. When you do synthetic division, I need you to stay organized, and I need to see this work. There is no way that you should be able to do this in your head and give me an answer without showing any work. On one of your last assignments, if there's no work, no credit. Same thing goes on test, quiz, homework, anything. If you want credit, I need to see all of this work. And then after you had the filler zeros, then you should have the pattern of multiply and add. -1 times 3 is -3. Add down, multiply, add, multiply, how about -8, and add. There we go. And then we need to put our variables back in. If we started off with x to the third, that means in our answer, we get x to the second as our starter. So 3x squared minus 3x plus 8 minus 9 over x plus 1. And you're going to do number 4 for your homework. All right, so now we have some graphs. State the number of zeros. So you need to know that zeros is code for x-intercepts. So on number 5, the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis, and we only have 1 right there. So we have 1, 0. The end behavior, what's it doing at the far left and the far right? So my end behavior is down and up. And what is the smallest possible degree of the function? All right, so if you want to know the smallest possible degree, you're going to have to go number of turns plus 1, and then make sure that that agrees with your end behavior. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. If you have 4 turns, that means that x to the 5th is going to be the smallest degree. So take your number of turns and go plus 1. X to the 5th is logical because an odd exponent could have a down-up behavior. That makes sense. You do 6 and 7. Number 8. Given the following, state these things. Number 8, -3x squared plus 4x to the 6 plus 9. Before you can ever tell me anything about it, you need to make sure that it's in standard form. So let's rearrange our order first. 4x to the 6 minus 3x squared plus 9. Now we can come over here and we can answer questions. Leading coefficient is 4. Your constant is the number usually at the end without a variable on it, so my constant is 9. The degree of the polynomial, this is a 6th degree polynomial, and they don't have special names, but x to the 5th does have a special name, and x to the 4th also has a special name. End behavior. So if you have a positive leading coefficient paired up with an even exponent, that tells me that my end behavior is going to be up and up. And what is the max number of zeros? Generally, you can look at your biggest exponent, and we're going to say 6 is the maximum number you would find. Do the same thing with 9 and 10. Number 11. Given the function, divide and state whether divisor is a factor. So if we want to divide, we're going to have to use synthetic division here. So is it in standard form? No. And as you're putting it in standard form, let's also look for filler zeros. So I'm going to write this in order. 2x to the third. I need a filler zero at x squared minus 3x plus 9. If your factor is x minus 1, then 1 is going to be your divisor. 2, 0, negative 3, 9. Remember to show all your work. Bring your first one down, and then start the process of multiply and add. Multiply, add, multiply, add. Put your variables in. So I'm going to start 1 degree less than my original problem, plus 2x minus 1, and 8 is my remainder, and so I'm going to write it over my original factor. All right, divide the function, done. Is this one a factor? No, it's not a factor because my remainder is not 0. And then you have 3 more of them to do for homework. Thank you, Algebra 2, and I will see you in class.